welcome to Storytime with Ishan. Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Storytime with Ishan. Now our story really needs a good background, so let's go ahead and throw one on. Alright, that's great. Now we can get started. The Mystery of the Cactus Arm by Dusty Bowling. Alright, I'm ready. I stand under the saguaro cactus in my front yard with my next door neighbor, Calvin. The cactus towers over us, at least 5 times our height. Its trunk-like body and large curving arms reach for the cloudless Arizona sky. Oliver, Calvin says, I bet you $5 you can't make that arm fall off. He's always betting me like this. Last week he bet $5 I couldn't catch a tarantula hawk, which is a nasty wasp. I ended up with the most painful sting of my life. But it was still better than having to deal with Calvin making fun of me at school if I've chickened out. A wooden support beam is wedged under one of the saguaro's arms. My parents put it there to hold the arm up after a tree branch fell on it, causing it to nearly break off. I push on the beam, but it's pretty stuck. I don't know, I say, kicking it lightly. My parents are trying to save it. Calvin narrows his eyes and grins. I'll bet you $10. I'm tempted. I could put the money towards a new video game I've been wanting, called Animal Crossing. But it's still a bad idea. Nah, I say, my parents might get mad. Calvin rolls his eyes. You're such a chicken. There he goes again with his taunting. Why did that guy have to live next door to me? I lean on the beam a little. I don't think so, I say, but I'm sure Calvin senses he's wearing me down. Fine, he says, $15. That's all the money I have. Whoa, he's never bet me that much before. $15 could definitely be enough to buy Animal Crossing. And maybe Calvin would finally leave me alone once and for all. I kick a little harder at the beam. It budges. I know I shouldn't do it, but that arm is on its way out anyway. How long could it possibly hold on? Deal, I say. I glance back at my house to make sure no one's watching and kick at the beam as hard as I can. Moves about an inch. A toe sting, but I keep kicking it. The beam eventually clatters to the ground in a cloud of dust, forcing us to jump out of its way. The saguaro arm sways and sags, but it doesn't fall. Calvin pumps his fist. You lose! Not so fast, I say, picking up a large rock, and chuck it at the arm. It bounces off, and the arm sways again. I start grabbing every rock I find and hurling them at the arm. It begins to tilt, finally twisting and tearing off at the joint, plummeting to the ground in another puff of dust. Yes, I shout. There won't be any teasing at school tomorrow, and with all of Calvin's money gone, maybe not forever. Maybe not ever. Calvin is pale despite the blazing heat. Can't believe it, he mutters. What's going on out here? We whirl to see Dad coming towards us. Oh no, that arm broke off. He looks down at us suspiciously. How'd that happen, Oliver? I shrug, my shoulders shaking a little. I don't know. It was like this when we got here, Calvin adds. We glance at each other nervously. What do you think's gonna happen? You think his dad's gonna find out? Can't wait to see. Let's continue. Dad shakes his head. Bummer, he says. You know, it takes 100 years for a saguaro cactus to even grow an arm. What a loss. I blink at him in the bright sun. No, I hadn't known that. Dad shrugs. Oh well, nothing can be done about it now. Will you boys help me wrap it up and carry it to the dumpster? We help Dad roll up the arm in an old piece of carpet and carry it across the yard. As we toss it to the dumpster, Dad says, just think, 100 years down the toilet. Actually, down the dumpster, Calvin says, chuckling. Dad smiles, but I don't feel like smiling at all anymore. After Dad goes in the house, Calvin grumbles, "I'll bring you your money tomorrow." Then he turns and leaves. I watch him walk next door, the guilt already building in my chest over what I did to the cactus and over how I lied to Dad. I toss and turn in my bed that night, thinking about the cactus and Dad's disappointed face. 100 years down the dumpster. A light flashes into my room, and several seconds later, thunder booms. I start counting the seconds between the flashes and booms. There are fewer seconds every time. The storm is moving closer. Another blinding burst of light. I count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I stop. Did I hear something? It sounded like whispering. The thundering boom comes, and I think I hear the whispering. Who's all the Jack's Arm? What's it saying? That can't be right. I don't even know of anything named Jack Hut. I strain to hear the words. It's getting easier to make them out between booms because the whispering is getting louder, just like the thunder. My heart nearly stops as I figure it out. Who stole my cactus arm? I pull the covers up to my trembling chin. Then I let out a big sigh of relief, the realization hitting me. It's Calvin. He's pranking me. Just like him to do something like this. What a sore loser. I throw the covers back down and jump out of bed. Running to the window, I shout, "I know you're there, Calvin! I'm not letting you off the hook for the money." The whispering gets even louder. Who stole my cactus arm? Lightning flashes, revealing the yard outside my window. I run back to my bed, my heart leaping in my chest, the thunder rattling the window. I pull the covers up over my head. Because I hadn't seen Calvin outside. I hadn't seen anyone at all. Calvin hands me $15 as we walk to the bus stop next morning. "Here," he says begrudgingly, like it's my fault that he's broken out. When he's the one he forced me to make the bet. I take the money and wipe sweat from my forehead, the air already hot and humid from the storm. "Were you outside my window last night?" I ask. "Why would I be outside your window? It was storming." I squint at him. I hear you whispering. He smirks. "And what exactly am I whispering? Who stole my cactus arm?" He laughs. "That's a good one. I think you've been reading too many scary stories." "I know it was you. Dude, I was asleep in bed last night. I wouldn't go out in a storm. I don't want to get struck by lightning. But it had to be Calvin. Who else could it have been? A ghost? That's silly. And it couldn't have possibly been the actual... No, that's ridiculous. It had to be a person. And that person was probably Calvin." "Fine," I grumble. But though I still totally don't believe him. Because I really don't know who else it possibly could have been. More storms roll in that night as I lie awake in bed. I pull the covers tightly around me. Then I hear the whispering again, only it's louder than last night. Much louder. I realize it doesn't sound like Calvin at all. "Who stole my cactus arm?" But I bury my head under the pillow. I tremble. "Leave me alone." "Who stole my cactus arm? Go away." "Who stole my cactus arm?" The whispering is loud enough now that I'm sure it's inside my room. "I'm sorry, it's gone. The garbage truck already took it away." "Who stole my cactus arm?" Fear overwhelms me and I start to cry, declaring, "I'll make it right, I promise. I'll make it right if you just go away." The whispering finally stops. The next morning, I sit down at breakfast with my parents and my heart thumping. "I have something important to tell you," I say. They stop chewing their cereal and give me their full attention. "What is it, honey?" Mom asks. I swallow hard. "I made the cactus arm fall down. I knocked it off. I'm sorry. Dad stares at me. Why would you do that, Oliver? I explain the whole story about Calvin and the bet. Then I tell them I'll make it right. I take a deep breath. I have to make it right. Mom puts her hands on mine and squeezes. Thank you for telling us the truth. And I know how you can make it right, says Dad. It's Saturday, so Mom and Dad take me to visit Saguaro National Park. On the tour, the park ranger tells us the Sonoran Desert is the only place in the whole world where saguaro cactus grows. It can take 10 years for a saguaro to grow its first inch, and some of those cactuses are hundreds of years old. It's up to us to protect them. Dad raises his hands and asks, "What's the penalty for damaging a saguaro?" He looks down at me and raises an eyebrow. The person can be sentenced up to 25 years in prison for cutting down a saguaro, even on their own property, the park ranger says. I gulp. 25 years? My own hand shoots up and the park ranger points to me. What can we do to help? I ask, putting his arm around me. My dad smiles. Glad you asked, the park ranger said. We have to take care of the desert. Pick up trash when you see it. Be careful not to start fires. And, of course, you can always donate. I reach down and pull $15 out of my pocket. Tell the park ranger I'd like to donate. That night, I'm able to fall asleep peacefully because the sky is clear and quiet. There are no more storms, no more guilt over what I did, and no more whispers.